In today's content, we're going to talk about BTC, Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple XRP, and EOS very quickly. Okay, so we're going to start off with the lower degree, at least for the short term. We're going to start off with BTC, right? As you can see in front of you, like we made a very impulse wave down, and then we basically been correcting over the last 24 to 48 hours. As we said, if BTC basically drops below 7k, it is going to be very difficult to basically get another breakout above 7k. So let's take a look at the lower degree. As you can see, the lower degree, we made a beautiful triangle top formation. Was looking for the breakout to the upside. It gives us the breakout to the downside with what, a three-way move pullback. Okay, so this three-way move pullback, it is most of the time a continuation pattern. Whenever you see it, you just have to expect like a further downtrend. I'm going to show you on a higher degree what I'm talking about, right? So whenever you see this beautiful N-shape formation, I like to call it N-shape, right? So it doesn't have to be N all the time, but you can see like it looks like this. Sometimes you can make a very expanded one, but this one is pretty clean. Okay, it is pretty clean. The only way we can get like a further move to the upside, it is like if BC decides to make this one very expanded, right? And then basically give us another three-way move right there. Okay, so we could eliminate this flat correction and make this one a wave one of something going up. Okay, but it's going to be very complicated to go through it. As of now, we just take what we got, which is basically a three-way move. So another bearish pattern we could also get is like, we could make a possible head and shoulder within this range. Okay, this flat correction could be very expanded, right, within this range, come back, retest the top up to like this top was like almost 73. Okay, so get this sort of wedge and then drop down. Okay, we've seen it multiple times, especially on alt, Ethereum, EOS, Neo, Litecoin. Most of them they most of the time make this type of structure, right? But at least for the short term, I'm just gonna stick to the this move, which is very corrective, not impulse at all. As you can see, you got double impulse, but it is not something like to basically at least for the short term be excited about. This move was impulse, so this is correct. This is a correction from this impulse move to the downside, right? So let's take a look at the daily daily structure. Daily structure, we got the 21 EMA basically supporting the price, which is pretty good in terms of bearishness. Why it is good right now for BTC to even close above 6,900? Why it is bearish? It is bearish because as you can see on the volume, we're going to be making some lower highs to some high lows. Okay, some high lows, and then you could say lower highs too, but we've been making like some high lows within this range, and volume could be decreasing over time. Okay, within the next couple of days. Okay, so let's say we got like yesterday's volume was let's go on by this time on Binance. Yesterday's volume was roughly pretty low. Okay, it was like 45,000. I was expecting 60,000 or higher. We got 45. So currently we got just about 22. So it means if we get like a roughly around let's say we get like a 25,000 and then we got 4 hours left for the daily candle to close. It means like the last 4 hour candle going to be very volatile, so you got to pay attention to your volume and see like what type of volume we get just about like the last 4 hours of the weekly candle. It's going to be very important. Okay, because I don't think we're going to close below 30,000. Below 30,000 volume. It's going to be very low, at least for the short term, right? But if we close green with a low volume, that's bearish, at least for the short term. But we do not want to close green with a roughly around like 100,000 volume. Okay, so it means we most likely going to close the weekly candle above 73. So it's definitely, we don't want to get like a 100,000 volume today. So it means we're going to get 80,000 volume before the rest of the day, right? So let's keep that in mind. 21 EMA currently just about 6848. So I'm bearish, but the fact that we stand above this 21 EMA on the daily time frame gonna give us a very tough time to break it. Okay, so we just need to break it. Okay, even though it is not easy to go bullish on this area after a big engulfing candle most of the time. Okay, after a red engulfing candle. You just have to suck it up, okay, and basically turns bearish, right? I was looking for the 77 daily 100 EMA, and I said it exactly. If we break 7K, it's going to be very, very tough for the bulls basically to manage to go back up. But you know, we are pretty much very near like near the top, so I wouldn't be FOMOing within this range. Okay, I wouldn't be FOMOing within this range, at least for the short term, right? So let's take a look at the weekly time frame. Very important. We definitely don't want to close below the weekly open, right? Weekly open just about like a 67.72. We already made a new low this week, which is like actually bearish. You know, after a big pump to like a 7400, we didn't want to like basically retest a break the weekly open, but we did break the weekly open. Now we're struggling now to push back up, right? So at least for the short term, that's what I see in terms of weekly. We do not want to break we do not want to close below 67.72 on Binance, right? Volume, as I said it multiple time, it is basically decreasing constantly in a constant rate. One of the reasons why we've been expecting volume to be like just about like a 550 to 580. We talked about it like last Sunday, so we already got like 530,000. Why it is very important, I was saying this week actually, right? I was saying like if the volume hit like just about 300 to 400,000 volume, we have to be very cautious, because the rest of the volume we could be getting for the rest of the week could be selling pressure, and that's what we got exactly. So it is very important to pay attention to volume. So I was expecting like the bulls to push up to 77, but the volume we got after Thursday was almost, before Thursday was almost 400,000. So it was pretty normal for the bears to step in for the rest of the volume and to basically give us a selling pressure, right? So let's keep that in mind. So next week if like we're going to get a low volatility, we could be expecting volume to be at least just about like 80% to 75% of this volume, which is just about like, let's say 400,000 volume next week, which is not going to be bad, okay? Which is not going to be bad. 400,000 is pretty much a lot. So we just have to suck it up and expect lower volume within this range. I know it's going to be very boring to get like a lower volume, but it's nothing we can do. So as long as we get this volume to be very tight within this range, make a sort of triangle, we definitely going to expect like the big breakout. Okay, so the next couple of weeks, if you don't get the volume right now, big volume like next coming week, right? If you don't get the big selling pressure, we're most likely going to get it like within before end of May, right? So let's keep that in mind. End of May, maybe like in 3 to 4 weeks, right? So let's dive into Ethereum, right? Ethereum, let's see. So Ethereum weekly got rejected by the 21 EMA. Pretty much very consistent in terms of like a rejection. So we got to be able to break it. So but Ethereum, the most important moving average for Ethereum is like the 25 EMA. Let me add it and see. Ethereum most important moving average is like the 25 MA. So we just got rejected by the 25 MA, pretty much the same as the 21 MA. So if Ethereum is able to close above this 25 MA, it is going to be very bullish. As I said it last time, when Ethereum was like just about 170 range, that's when we took the long, just about like a 195 or so on, and price went all the way up to like 200. So Ethereum key level to break is like just about 169. Okay, if like we can get a nice close above like 169 on a weekly basis, that's going to be extremely bullish for Ethereum for a retest of even like a 250 to 275, right? But we got to be able to break above it cleanly and maintain a nice bullish volume, at least for the short term, right? So but the hourly, okay, Ethereum hourly is actually not looking great. As you can see, like we already made a top formation, right? For Ethereum, we made a top formation breakout. So after you get a breakout, what do you expect? You just have to expect like a some sort of correction. This could also be a triangle, right? So let me just try to draw it properly. So you got your basically triangle, a you know, breakout to the downside, and then now we're making a three-way move. Okay, but nothing is saying, like I said, nothing is saying like we cannot get a basically triangle. It could be a descending triangle too, right? So we could make this triangle on Ethereum, but not to speculate too much about what type of correction we get. Let's just stick like to the correction we currently making. Okay, so it is this move. Okay, what do we expect next? We just have to expect this move to the downside. If we get a support again just about this level, we can just, you know, look for this descending triangle, right? But even if we make this descending triangle, you can expect like a one-to-one extension all the way down to like a, you know, 141 or so. So in 141 we also got a nice support roughly right there. So either way you look at it, you know, this correction could be very bearish for Ethereum. The only way I can be bullish on Ethereum is like, you know, like I said, right, about BTC, we can make this move and make the three-way move, you know, pullback, and then it's going to give us like some sort of a continuation, at least for the short term. And we could just say this is a your WXY correction, and then we're going to be making another move to the upside, right? But at least for the short term, let's pay attention to our basically three-way move. Ethereum likes to make it, most alto also, okay, they like to make this three-way move pullback. Sometimes it can be very complex, like this one. As you can see right there, okay, we got a three-way move pullback, but what it gave us a, you know, a beautiful three-way move pullback again before making this move. But you just call it a wedge. It's a WXY correction, and then that's it. Okay, so at least for the short term, I'm bearish on Ethereum with this corrective move. I'm bearish on Ethereum, right? So let's take a look at Litecoin. So Litecoin is making also the same corrective structure. So I'm expecting a further drop from Litecoin. The way we're going to drop also could be very different. It might not be a, you know, a straight sell-off. It can pull back, give us a better correction before moving down, right? So, but at least for the short term, the directional move is already clean. You don't want to play with these engulfing not engulfing, but these are basically bearish or strong sell-off. You don't want to play with them. Okay, you got one, you got three-way move pullback, you just respect it. If market wants to make a wedge descending triangle, you know, symmetrical triangle, whatever, you don't care. You just expect the further drop. All right, so at least for the short term Litecoin, we could expect like another drop down to support. We got a support roughly around this area of $37. And if you do a swing high to swing low on your fib, you could look for which is just about 382. So coincidentally, it's just about like a 382, and 382 is just about like $37, right? So let's move on to the EOS. So EOS is making similarly the same structure, so I'm not going to spend too much time with EOS. So we're just going to look for 382 pullback. Okay, it is the same structure as Litecoin, Ethereum, you know, Neo, and all of them, right? So EOS, as you can see, it is even better, right? The structure, because EOS, we got a what? We got a support right at, you know, 236, a 236 pullback, right? Three-way move pullback. We just have to expect like you know, 382 pullback, which is just about like a $2 range, 210 to 220, right? At least for the short term, you could expect like a further pullback, right? But if we get different structure, I'm just going to keep you guys updated. Like I said, in order to stay bullish, at least for the short term, we have to basically get a clean breakout above this area of 2.7. That's the only way I can be bullish. Or okay, if EOS can make this move and give us the three-way move pullback, and then we're going to look for this, right? That's the only way I can invalidate this you know, flat correction, right? So let's take a look at King XRP. So King XRP, clean you know, three-way move pullback. Also it looks better. So if you don't understand what's going on, right, as not we drop down here, you wouldn't be bullish with this range, and then you said you're going to be like, oh, we're going back to the moon. It's going to give you this correction. Sometimes this correction, like I said, they can be regular flat, they can come they can come back all the way down or even break this structure and then give you a better corrective move. But as of now, we got this flat correction, and then we could be looking for a further drop, right? In order to be bullish, at least for the short term, we got to get a three-way move pullback within this range. And then if this three-way move pullback looks clean, okay, very slow, very choppy, not dropping fast, we can expect like a further move to the upside. Further move to the upside. But as of now, I'm sticking to the bearish momentum, and I look for a 382 pullback, similarly to EOS, Ethereum, Litecoin, and so on, right? So let's take a look at it. 382, swing low to swing high. It's gonna be just about like a 16,385, okay, 16,345 roughly, okay, 16,314. okay, so it could, let's see what type of drop we could be expecting. Just about like a 15% drop. That's a lot. So it means like a BC could be dropping like a 8 to 10% if it's Ripple XRP going to be dropping 16%, right? So we could expect at least a half of that from BTC. So BTC dropping 10%, that's a lot. That's going to be roughly around like a low 6K, and low 6K we got a very good support at 58, which was our previous like a breakout area. 58 to roughly 58 to like a 68, right? So roughly 382, just about almost 57, okay? So 58 to 57, but we definitely gonna get some sort of a support at 236 level. For BTC is like 63, okay, 63 range. It is from swing low to swing high, right? So let me check if that's a log scale first, because yeah, that's a log scale. So let's check it on Moonboy scale. On Moonboy scale, we're gonna be looking for just about 6100, okay? So depending which type of fib retracement you're using, you could be looking for anywhere around like a 6100 all the way down to 58, okay, 61 to 58. All right, so if this correction is successful, and most likely, okay, the bears got a good chance to basically make that happen, but just be cautious, okay? Just be cautious, because nothing is guaranteed in this market, right? Nothing is guaranteed. You just analyze the market as you see it. You got a correction, you take it. All right, you got an impulse, correction, impulse. That's all you expect. That's all you're expecting. Can we get a more complex correction? Yes, we can get this correction, right? Can get this, can get that, and then before dropping and make this sort of wedge. Still going to be a WXY correction within this range, where you don't want to give you too much information, but we can make this WXY correction. It is still going to be, if you don't want to use WXY correction, you can just say ABC, right? So, but at least for the short term, we got a beautiful ABC correction so far. If market is volatile enough, we're not going to be waiting for like a WXY and all those corrections, right? At least for the short term. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching.